Peace. What's going on? It's the Real HD Show. We are prime time with a purpose. Don't get nervous. We are going below the epidermis. Those are all of our sponsorships. Um, First, you got Redeem Vacation. So that's right. You want to bring 5 people to the show, courtesy of yourself and your energy and your ingenuity, and you will get a 4 day, 3 night vacation to an American destination or Caribbean destination of your choice, courtesy of Redeem Vacations and the Real HD Show. Also, get that total package energy, that all natural energy supplement. None of us are getting any younger. Everybody putting in that work. You get that 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock crash, and you want to be up and have the remedy for it. We are the Real HD Show, and we are also doing several new and innovative shows. We got a sneaker show. We got a cannabis show. We have a show about relationships. We have a show about so many things. We have a worldwide co-op shop, small business, gig economy show. That's right. So if you're a small business for a nominal fee, we will advertise your business in a round robin digital format. And also, we have many shows, and we can also create shows. I'm even getting ready to put together a show that talks about the native influence on history and melanated culture in this hemisphere. That's right, a native based show that connects the dots, fills in the missing links. That is in the engineering works. So look out for the Real HD show and look out for the Real HD Broadcast Network with all of those hot shows. Our video shows, video music show is coming up. Yo, man, 2024 is going to be a popping season. So thanks everybody who's watching. We are blasting off the 5 Facebook channels, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Mob Crush, D Live, Trovo Nation. We are all over. Catch us on all platforms. All you got to do is keyword the Real HD in your address bar, and it will link you to a link to a link to a link, and you will get to the Real HD show. And you could put it in the address bar and get it popping with us. But in case you want to do that right now, the way to go is right down in the third below. StreamYard.com, HXZ3UZDQIW. That's right. DQIW. So put that in your address bar above. And then you can come backstage with us, chop it up, tell us your opinion on a few things, tell us how you feel. It's your voice, your victory. That's right. There's no wrongs. There's no rights. I know sometimes we be a little highbrow on the show with the information, but we want to have a conversation with you all, but we don't want to hold back because we feel that there are relevant strategies and calculation necessary for us to solve these problems and move ahead in a prosperous way. So once again, jump in at the call letters below, and I have no problem bringing you up. You can even put it in the chat wherever you at, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, wherever you at. Put it in the chat, or you can write me a private message, and I'll put it on the screen so people can see what you mean. You rocking with the Real HD Show. Let's get into the Ancestors and Elders Blueprint. That's right. We can't do nothing without the wisdom of our ancestors. And tonight's edition is not an ancestor or an elder, but he has some wise things to say. He's a brother of considerable age. He's out of the hip hop movement. His name is David Banner, and he has some really critical things and some smart things, some wise words for us to heed. And we're gonna do that right now on the Real HD Show. Check it out.
But the problem is black people don't have anyone to protect them. Most other people have a country and a flag that will come to protect them. Africa, for the most part, we don't have, a country in Africa that's going to come to black people's rescue for the most part. So it's like then we have to turn around to our oppressor, the same people who have done those things and called us and created that word in the form that it is in now, to protect us. I want to ask, I always ask this in my speeches. If any of us, especially as a black person, if we do something to a Russian kid, guess who coming to see us? Russians. If we do something to an Asian person, guess who coming to see us? Fucking ninjas. Cut our fucking head off. When something happens in our community, we got to run to the police. And them the same motherfuckers in a lot of cases that's killing us anyway. So the word, bro, let's just say from now on, so it will be very clear. If you say the word, it's a derogatory term. And I want to tell the youngsters this. This is to all of our young people. Because we always blame these children for their music and we always want to dump shit on these children. But our children, again, and I said this the last time, are a reflection of what we did or did not teach them. If y'all have white friends that are around you calling you a nigga, then that reflects on how they feel about you and they feel about your culture. The way that people act around you, I always used to tell people this, like, you say what you want to around the people that you feel comfortable around saying it around. You know what I'm saying? If Bill Maher was probably in the room with your friend that you told me about, do you think that he would say that?
Probably not.
Do you think if he was in Jackson, Mississippi or Brookhaven, Mississippi, where my uncle literally got hung, my great uncle got hung from a tree for fucking real. So you saying means something to me. I'm not so far removed from my culture that I don't remember or I don't respect it. The way that you let people talk to you and act around you is a reflection of how they feel about you.
Peace. Welcome to the Real HD Show, the higher discussion. And we got Brother Mozzie back with us one more again for another win. Ready to spin. What's going on with you, bro?
Hey, man, just trying to enjoy this weather. It's pretty nice out.
Mm.
Outside of being a little wet, it's nice and it's not too cold out. So I'm just trying to enjoy that.
It dipped a little bit yesterday. It dipped to like maybe 20 degrees, somewhere in there last night.
It was cold last night and yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, but it warmed up. So, it's in a volley season right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. So that was the end of our elders and ancestors blueprint. And even though David Banner isn't an ancestor, he acts like he got an old spirit. And that was some wise words, man. Let's talk with some of the items he jumped in there and talked about. He said, "Do we have a standing militia to protect us, like other nationalities in the world, or do we live in a paradox where if we're violated, we got to go to the same people who oppressed our ancestors?" What's your thoughts on that, bro?
If we're violated, we're just screwed, man. It's just that simple. Do we rely on those who have subjugated us and committed violence against us in the past and currently? Will we have to go to them? We would, but don't count some of these young brothers out, man. I mean, there's too many illegal guns floating in the street, and too many of these young kids are, in my opinion, man, I think they're waiting for something like this to happen, where they can, disengage.
Yeah,
But what they fail to realize is, I have this discussions with my nephews all the time. They felt like the brothers in the hood really had it going on. And when I try to explain to them that, this country trained killers and they train in urban warfare. They train in, fighting conventional, fighting in the woods, fighting in the snow. I said, not only that, they have weaponry that we ain't even know exists, man. We think it's in the cartoons. So
right.
It would not be a fair fight if we had to fight. But I think given the way in which we move and our creativity, our resiliency, and then more importantly, our will to win, I think we can be able to do some damage that would definitely cause some things to not go their way. But that's me being somewhat in a dream world. These folks got every type of law enforcement agency out there. They spend trillions of dollars every year on the war machine. We will be it'll be a tough situation for us, man. Because like you said, we don't have our own militia, that's organized, that trains. There's small pockets, but nothing of a critical mass like you find a lot of the right wingers, evangelicals that are out there, roaming around the country.
Hey man, is Brother Mozzie right? Was David Banner? Let's talk about the David Banner question. Are we in a paradox? Do we depend on those same people who oppress us to protect us? And are we living in the ultimate paradox? Is that the reason why we have so many respect issues with our women? Things to make you say, And lastly, with that, the end of the video, he asked a crucial idiom. He said, do we teach people how to treat us or the lack thereof? And if you got a white friend that after all of the histrionics of it all, and after all of the back and forth and up and down and marching and protesting and fighting and scuffing and shuttling and everything that was made into that out of the entire sojourn of us being here, if you allow a white person in your presence to rumble off the word, you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about that certain word, that N word, and you're not upside his jaw real quick. Is that teaching him how to treat you? Let us know at home. We got quite a bit of people watching, quite a bit of people contributing. Please put it in the chat. Let us know where you're at. That was our ancestor and elders blueprint. And all right, now we're going to get into real quick before it gets too far gone. We're going to jump right into our AAT report, Healthy, Wealthier, and Wiser for a great you for the rest of the 21st century. Here we go.
Another ancient grain about ya. Teff, out of Ethiopia. Another ancient take the lead. Teff, one of the ancient seed. Teff has its own kind of flavor. Famous for making injera. Got the protein, got the fiber. 9 amino acids like quinoa. Calcium, iron, copper. Enough minerals, teff is proper. Teff grain, teff flour. Give you the energy, enough power. Got a lot of good nutrients in. Potassium, B vitamin. Good for the long distance running. One of the reasons so much Ethiopians win. Not the smallest grain. It's tiny. You got brown, red, white, and ivory. Another thing, it is gluten free. Try it out in a one recipe. Another ancient grain about ya. Teff out of Ethiopia. How want me eat Wednesday? Yes, sire.
Yeah, so we're back. That was Maccabee, and he's talking about teff, a grain that's been around since the ancient days. And y'all saw how many ingredients are in teff. And he sparked something in me when he was talking, and he said about when he's running off all the vitamins and minerals and nutrients within teff. He made me think of this excerpt that I just read about how many dangerous ingredients are in bread. Mass bread production from your typical bread mills. And I'm trying to pull that up right now. What'd you think of Maccabee? First of all, thanks Maccabee for the video, letting us rock with all your great content. We appreciate it on our Real HD show, and we're going to try to show it as much as possible. So what did you think of Maccabee? And I'm going to load this screenshot out while you talk about what you thought of the video.
One of the interesting things is bread is kind of a new invention, so to speak. And it kind of came about more during the time of recent agriculture, when the world started engaging in agriculture. But there was a bread-like substance that has been made that was out there, but it was made with, you can sort of say live organisms, plants, things of that nature, like spelt and I forgot the other item. And if you're looking for some of that stuff, Ezekiel bread. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. That is very good. If you need to have bread, that's a good bread to get. We got to be careful with some of these grains because they are somewhat toxic to the body, let alone how they're made. And the way in which a lot of them are made, it's definitely not good for us.
Yes, sir. So 10 ingredients that always avoid in bread. Potassium bromate, very bad for you. Azelaic, azodi carbonide, partially hydrogenated oil, sugar. Those two we've known for a long time, but people ignore them until it's too late. Diglycerides and mono and diglycerides, and what is it? Butylated hydroxysoil, um, sodium, and caramel coloring. So just some things to think about. Think about some of your bread and rice alternatives. Think about some of the things that are presented to you with the AAT report, Healthy, Wealthier, and Wiser for a brand new you. So we're back, Real HD Show. Tell us what you know. Thanks for the hearts and the likes. Yeah, brothers, thank y'all for tuning in, man. Why don't y'all come on back and contribute to the conversation? That'd be dope to get y'all voice on a couple of things. You know what I mean? Dipping in is great, but sticking and staying is even better, man. Sticking and staying is even better. So right away, we have some really interesting articles. And I thought that as the stewards of men on the planet, meaning the original men on the planet were melanated people, I thought this article was really interesting. And I thought we should talk about it. And I wanted to know from a melanated man's perspective what they think about when they see things like this, and where things are going in lieu of it. So let me pop it on the screen. Boom. Brother Mozzie, what's your thought, man? Kim Kardashian, man of the year. Man of the year.
You know, it just further shows you that, things have definitely gone awry. And that we live in a world now where we've opened Pandora's box, and we don't know if we're right side up or right side down or upside down. And when you allow for anything to occur, this is what you get, man. We don't live in a world of substance anymore here in the U.S., of A in particular. And Kim the Kardashian sells, and selling is what you want to do. But more importantly, the further emasculation of men in America, also pushing an agenda that's anti-family, anti-procreation, and the list goes on.
So the crucial question becomes, as the original stewards of men on the planet, have we done a good enough job to placehold and honor the place of men in this day and age, when we allow things like this to be proliferated? Or they put, or another fashion magazine of the same ownership puts Pharrell, one of our musical geniuses of the last 10 years, in a dress, essentially. And I'm not talking about a regal robe. I'm talking about a straight dress with ruffles and chiffon and all of the like. And then ASAP Rocky, who's supposed to represent, one of the hardcore parts of Harlem as a hip hop MC, they want to dress his masculinity down and dress his masculinity down in front of his woman with his child. So have we done a good job as stewards of masculinity, especially when we always show that we are the dominant force in masculinity through our athletic prowess, our entertainment prowess, our, just our overt masculine form and energy? Have we done a good enough job of that? Let us know. Put it in the chat. Ladies, y'all could jump in and tell us how y'all feel about it as well. We welcome you guys input on this too. What's your thoughts, bro? I think I
We
got an idea, but I want you to elaborate.
well, you know, we as well, one, we've had the feminization of black men in particular going on for some time now, and now you're starting to see where it's starting to creep uh, into mainstream. But you know what's interesting is a lot of this is somewhat parallel to Greco-Roman times when in Greece and Rome and what happened to their societies as you become a more mature society over years. What happens is these crazy things like this take place. That's how we got the what do you call it? The Isle of Lesbos. Remember that in history
Yeah.
where you
Yep.
got all these Amazon women
Uh-huh.
and they did not need men. They were on the island by themselves. Part of the reason why they did it was because what we see today, a lot of the men just want to be with the men. So the women had no
Mm,
choice but to go be with the women.
mm.
And we got that's kind of pretty parallel till today. We don't have relationships that we can hang our hat on. Men and women are pretty transactional. We don't have family like we used to. Then you throw in the fact that we have a lot of men that are very effeminized and engaging in same gender relationships. And then you throw in women and what they're doing, and then the fight for trans women to be trans men who go, all that stuff get all mixed up and everything. So now it's so mixed up, you don't know who's who and what's what. And so
Yeah.
when you get this kind of thing, we don't have the kind of uh, uh, we don't have the type of men that are working together to be able to speak out against these type of things and actually saying, hey, no, this ain't happening. Most of us, most of the men in America is all about, I don't even know what they're about really, because if we were men, certain things we just don't allow to happen. And I'm not
Mm,
going to be called a man, but then there's going to be a woman who represents me as a man.
mm. So is Brother Mozzie right? Are we not gonna do anything about this? Are the men here? Are the men listening within reach? Talk to us, man. Let us know. Would you, if you had the chance to do something about this and this slack representation of what a man is supposed to be, is that the overall goal for third, fourth wave feminism to be men? And what does this picture say? She's licking her fingers, overindulging on what life has to offer right now. I guess that's what that's supposed to represent. Um, are are women the new men? Let us know. And that's not misogynistic. That's just a straight question. Um, if you had the chance to address this straight away, would you? Because according to the article, and I'll read a little bit of it, Kim Kardashian was a little confused by the cover and what the cover said. It says Kim Kardashian confuses fans with GQ Man of the Year title. This is dumb and super insensitive. Kim Kardashian has baffled fans after landing the GQ cover for Man of the Year. It says real quick, I won't read too much. The 43-year-old star was one of 3 cover stars on the U.S. edition of the Thursday Night Award. It says Kim was branded with Tycoon of the Year after launching the Skims menswear and posed in an androgynous suit. Posed in an androgynous suit and tie for the cover spread, taking to Instagram to share. Um, Hi, I'm GQ Man of the Year. I think we're seeing this a lot, bro. With the Aisha Curry's, Stephen Curry's wife. Um, even with even Beyonce to a degree. We're seeing this competitiveness between men and women who, women want to reach the same level of infamy or importance or notoriety as a man has, and isn't afraid to kind of, slap box in the world of men, so to speak, in order to get
Mm-hmm.
to it. Um, My problem with the whole thing is there's no apprenticeship for it. There's no blueprint for it. There's no retirement plan for it. So how do you sustain it? How do you sustain? Let's say what this is what is the new way. Like Mandalorian, this is the way. Right? Let's say this is the new way. Where's the blueprint? Where's the document? Where's the Constitution? Where's the Declaration of Self? Where's the societal changing documents and the superior intellectual thought put into where and what and how this is going to turn into?
Yeah.
Because we can't have a male version of Themyscira and think that, 100 years from now, there's going to be any human beings left. Because if men want to be men and women want to be men, where does that take everybody?
That's the crucial question that everyone has to answer.
Yeah, man. But moving on, man. We're going to move on because, they're trying to make this shoe fit. And there's another group that's trying to make the same shoe fit or make one size fit all or have all tides lift all boats. And that's DC Comics. After comic book readers rejected the bisexual Superman, DC tried it again with Green Lantern, and the results were the same. Flop. Sad. DC cancels gay Superman comic after dismal sales. Now, I could read into these two articles, but you and I have known comics long enough. I've raised my boys on comics, not only because it increases your imagination, but it increases your ability to read well. So what's your thought, man? Making every character in DC gay or LGBTQ, trying to make, one shoe fit everybody's foot. What do you think, man? Check out this picture. Check out this picture while you're talking.
I don't know if excuse me. I don't know if Marvel has an agenda or not, or if Marvel and DC is just trying to make money. And they see where society's headed, so let's try to make that money. But if they are playing up to to society to make their money, what does it say about the society we live in? And that the part that is so interesting about all of it is that it's all about feminism. It's all about the feminine energy. We never see, and they never talk about all these former women who want to be men. It's always men who are trying to be women, or men who are flamboyant, walk around like they got, with a little sugar in the tank. There's a certain type of femininity or feminism that is always reigning supreme. When you put that other picture up, look at everybody. You know what I mean? It's all about the woman. Look at Superman. Look like he a little sweet. There's these. I don't know if these are trans women.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Look at
call him Superman. Call him Saccharin Boy.
Exactly. Well, what about the reverse side? Let's just, for argument's sake, say we run with this. What about those women that want to be men? Where's their story? Right. We know about the men who want to be women. And I don't even know who the guy is next to Superman. And tell me, he don't look like he got like he bought the Strange down the runway.
Yeah, that's Aqualad. That's supposed to be Aquaman's heir apparent.
Okay. And then you notice his heir apparent is who? Is what? It's a
He looked
brother.
like Odell Beckham to me.
Look just like Odell Beckham. Ain't that something? But look at look at the complexion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we got Aqualad, who's supposed to take over. He's feminine, and of course, he's brown skinned. He's melanated.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those other things that we don't look at. And then these two women over to the right, are they trans or are they what? But just for argument's sake, once again, where's the trans men? So
Yeah, absolutely.
something's going on.
But I guess that's supposed to be the toughness looking in the women, right? They're supposed to
Right.
represent that trans men situation.
Yeah. So you're telling me that as it relates to men are obsolete?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, of course. That's exactly what they're trying to give off with this. Yeah. I believe so. Yeah, man. Hold on. Let me see if I can read a little bit of it. It says hold on, let me share my screen because I want you guys to see this because this is a melanated black comic that a brother made out of California. And he has a version and he's crowdfunding for his version of comics to be put out there. And this came out last year. Come on now, put it on the screen. All right, so I hope everybody can see that. It says non-woke comic crowdfunds $3 million because people want classic superhero action, believe it or not. This is non-woke comic crowdfunds $3 million. New comic book publisher Rippaverse has received $3 million for its debut project that, according to the creator, has a fetish comic book following. And this is a brother out of Oakland, or someplace in California.
So you catch that? Standard roles and that which in society balance out, gives you that harmonic balance between men and women is now fetish. You caught that?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So now, being what was the norm for hundreds of years and thousands of years, it's turned into that is the fetish and everything else is the norm. If you're non-woke, that means you probably are Neanderthal who think women need to be barefoot and pregnant or something like that, and that you don't buy into people being, part of the alphabet world. I don't know.
But folks still want traditional men. But let me put this one up. They doubled down and they even tried to make Green Lantern gay, but they took a fat L on the sales because nobody really wants to see that. Like that, they think that's what people want, but what they really want is men looking like men doing men things. But what they keep getting is, Saccharin Man, Sugar Boy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the reality is, and here's the other part. People don't have, some people don't have a problem with all this, alphabet stuff that's out here. What people had a problem with is it's gone to the other side where it puts down if you are old school, if you are, you believe in two genders, things of that nature, you're non-woke, they put you down. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that's always thrown in your face is this new lifestyle of things that we see out here.
That they haven't proven yet is sustainable.
Yeah.
Prove it to me that that's sustainable.
As that old saying goes, give me 10 men and 100 women, I'll show you a thriving population 100 years from now. You give me 10 trans, and 100 women. I guess you know.
Right. So
And you know
speak.
what's so? I don't know if you ever
Right.
listened to. I was listening to this doctor one time. I gotta find where it was at, but the one doctor talked about trans women and why they die so young.
Mm,
And not to part the part that some of them are out there trying to chase after uh, heterosexual men that basically not in the same gender relate, that's not into that kind of thing, and how they play these games and not tell them who they are up front. But because of the surgery and the biology, they end up with all types of internal issues trying to make like they have an actual vagina.
mm,
And the doctor was just saying it's horrible. It's horrible because even though they make it, it's more for the aesthetics than the actual use.
right.
And that's where the problem comes in at, is that they try to use it because they think now that they truly are a woman, and dude, they end up with all types of internal issues and bleeding and whatever else, man. And a lot of them die young.
Mm. Yeah. So that's the cost of maintaining the facade. Not to mention the stress levels, man. That gotta be create. That gotta be havoc on your stress levels, man. You gotta maintain that facade. You gotta. I remember my wife and my daughter and I were looking at one of the Miss Universe pageant, and of course the creator or the owner of the Miss Universe pageant is a trans person, and two people that were participating in it was Portugal and the Netherlands, and they are both trans people. And there was this model, and I meant to hit the clip, get the clip, and show it. But she said, and she was a proud sister, pretty girl, but she's young, maybe a little older than my daughter, maybe 25, 27, whatever. And she was talking about how she doesn't want to compete with trans people. And she says she thinks it's weird. Like she was in a dressing room with them, and one of them, and they were getting ready to do like a swimsuit runway thing, and one of them had to tuck, do the tuck. So they thought this was like sisterhood. Oh, it's all good, sisterhood. So she turned around and asked her, "Yo, can you see my joint from the back? Can you see my PD Pablo from the back?" They got on two pieces. They about to walk the runway. They about to, you know what I mean? They about to do their thing. And I guess she nipping and tucking like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. I don't know if you remember the scene in the movie where he found the dude that was the gay football, the gay kicker, and he was nipping it. He was tucking his joint to be
Yeah,
like a woman.
never seen the
No, no,
movie.
no, no. It wasn't a football player. It was the sergeant in the police department. And she came off like a woman when she was really a dude tucking.
Never seen the movie.
So watch it. It's hilarious, bro. So that's one of his better earlier movies. But the sister who was the model was like, "Ew, I'm not looking at you like that. I'm trying to go out here and do my best. I ain't worried about how you nipping and tucking right now, my guy. Get up out of here." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And she had a real problem with women being in that space. Like, I gotta have my breasts out, I gotta have my cootie cat out while we changing. And I don't know if you confused or if you a man and you like, dude, I don't know women, I don't know what you are. And I gotta be in the same dress space with you and compete with you.
And
Come on, man.
you got something and you got to tuck it.
He got tuck it, he got nip it and tuck it. Slip
You're
it and
probably
duck
having
it.
a hard time because he might see one of these, see the woman up there changing and might, wait a minute.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Wait a minute. Yeah, man. Shout out to Ray J. But there's somebody else struggling with that whole lifestyle too, man. And it's an Alabama preacher, politician who decided to do the very same thing. Bama preacher Bubba Copeland kills himself after being outed as a transgender curvy girl. And this is what that same person looks like doing the very same thing.
I mean,
Same
that's the
person.
preacher.
Huh?
That's Bubba.
That's Bubba.
Go ahead, Bubba.
Here's Bubba. Here's Bubba looking like Chris Farley. And now he look like, I don't know what he looked like here. I don't know what that is. I'm at a loss for words here. I don't know. I know all the ladies like that cheetah print though. Hey, put it in the chat if you don't like cheetah print. If you over 35 and you don't like cheetah print, you lying. We just having a good time right now. But yeah, man. So, you know, what about the psychological damage that Bubba, the mayor, had to go through for him to, you know, delete himself when he jumped into his superhero alter ego, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? He jumped into his superhero alter ego, and now he's Super Bubba, the curvy girl.
I got a lecture by Reverend Phil Valentine called "Perverse Matriarchy."
Ooh. Ooh.
And this lecture was done 15 plus years ago. And the things that we were dealing with today is what he talked about in that lecture, man. And this is just crazy.
So he projected it.
He talked about where we was headed and what's going on and what it's going to look like.
Right.
And he said, well, so it's just a perverse matriarchy because it's all about the women and the women being in control or thinking they're in control.
By hook or by crook, huh? By hook or by crook, right?
Yep.
Hey, man, think. Speaking of something taking control, right? We're entering the age of AI. We're entering the age of robots, and we always talk about how AI has done things on ChatGPT and threatened, and move things along in that direction. And everybody wants to put AI on the shelf because of how dangerous it can be. But what happens when it really actually happens? Check this out. Man killed by a robot that confused him with a box of vegetables. So they were all in a warehouse. And I guess it was like the Amazon thing that we showed a couple of weeks ago. And the robots are carrying on and the men are carrying on. And I guess the guy was a little too close to the robot. Robot confused him for a box of vegetables and thought that the box of vegetables was supposed to be on a conveyor belt. So the robot picked up the man. The man couldn't shuffle or move because I guess the robot clamped down on him. And then the robot forced him on the conveyor belt. And the conveyor belt crushed his head and his chest. Ain't that crazy, bro?
But here's why that happened.
That's crazy, man.
But here's why that happened.
That's not the future I want to be involved in, or anybody I know.
But here's why that happened. Because remember, those same robots that they had that had a higher level of consciousness or a higher level of processing. Remember, it killed itself because the job was mundane. So they had to dumb it down a little bit. Mm-hmm. Now it can't decipher and make decisions. It has a very rudimentary programming that causes it to just do one thing. And since it did not know that this person was not the box of vegetables, it picked them up thinking, hey, it's just a box of vegetables. Why isn't these vegetables going like it's supposed to go?
Right.
So isn't that ironic? Because think about it. Think about it. If it had the higher consciousness, like the other robot did, it killed itself. It's like, I'm not going to be doing this job the rest of my life. You crazy? Humans do it. People work in these factories for 20, 30, 40 years, doing the same mundane job over and over. But the robot itself with the higher AI said, oh, hell no. And killed itself and basically, destroyed itself. I don't know if you remember that. about
Are we?
I want to say
Go
earlier
ahead.
this summer where it showed the robot early summer or spring where the robot had it was tasked with doing the mundane job back and forth, and then it stepped back, just died.
Mm. Is that how like postal workers and factory workers feel when they work for a long time at the same mundane job, but they don't get the raises and the accolades and the mobility they think they should have, and they get that PTSD setting in, and they just snap, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So let's look at this one that's in the same vein, but it's more um, macro and national. While the Pentagon killer robots are spurring major concerns as the Defense Department is pushing aggressively to modernize its forces using fully automated drones and weapon systems, critics fear the start of a new arms race that could dramatically raise the risk of mass destruction, nuclear war, and civilian casualties. The Pentagon and military tech are going into overdrive in a massive effort to scale our existing technology in what has been the Replicator Initiative. It envisions a future force in which fully automated systems are deploying in flying drones, aircraft, water vessels, and defense systems connected through a computerized mainframe to synchronize and command combat units. Now that sounds like Cerebro from the X-Men to me, man. What you think?
Uh,
That sound like what's his name, Master Mold. You know, remember the old X-Men cartoon with the big
uh-huh.
dude and the big brain sitting in the chair, and then he sent off the Sentinels, and they all come back and they do his bidding and come back. That sound
Or
like some. That
or
sound like
you
some stuff there. Go ahead.
remember the movie years ago with Matthew Broderick, War Games?
Yes, yes,
Remember,
yes.
same thing. They had that device that was sitting there running through all these war calculations. That was the old school.
Yeah, man. That was good stuff, man. That was good stuff. Um, so we were talking heavy last time on the cops, and I came across another article that we should be aware of because awareness is king. You know what I mean? Got to put mind in motion before putting body in gear. And I thought this was really, really interesting. Veteran NYPD officer who boasted about loving her job allegedly sold top quality fentanyl, heroin, weed, and coke, all while on duty, feds say. Wow. I mean, it ain't nothing new. There's been NYPD Blue. There's been all kind of cop shows, Training Day, talking about the corruption and stuff. I guess the shock and awe of it all is when it happens in real time.
Yeah, and just what I don't get in this country is, you know, the fentanyl deal, man.
Mm.
You know, it's why is there fentanyl out there?
Yeah, isn't that supposed to be how they step on the drug to stretch it and make it last, or whatever it is
Yeah,
they
I
do
guess
to it?
fentanyl may have had a medical purpose at one time, but we
Mm-hmm.
know it's basically a poison. But it gives you a certain euphoria. That's even
Right.
a pinch of fentanyl is way more than like a couple grams of heroin. The high is really really intense and longer, so that's why it get mixed in. Um, and so now you got fentanyl that's getting you high, and you got heroin that's getting you high.
Heroin is making a comeback, huh? What's up with that?
Well, we ain't over in Afghanistan no more, man. Remember,
Mm.
uh, the Arabs over there was making some money off that heroin, and they like to see it flow into America anyway. Because why? Because we're infidels, man, and they tired of dealing with us. So let them kill themselves. They have an appetite for this stuff. Just let
Yeah,
them kill themselves, man.
yeah, yeah,
That's why
yeah.
everybody tell me, oh, I'm watching the news this morning. I check it out to see what they're talking about. Oh yeah, man. Something's gonna happen. They're gonna widen the war. Oh, they ain't widening no war, man. America is dying from within, man.
Mm.
We got people running around the street shooting at everybody. We got people taking drugs, dying. We got homeless people out here, man. We got people who are running our country who are about as crazy as a box of Fruit Loops. I mean, and the list goes on, man. So they have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
No, I just that's what it is, man.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, man. Tell us what you think about that in the chat. You like your drugs dealt from a cop? What you think? You like your fentanyl coming from a cop? Your Addies and your perks? Your Molly coming from a cop from the evidence room? That's the new spot. You know what I'm saying? Let me run over to the spot real quick and you go to the evidence lab. The evidence lockup for the police department.
Mm-hmm.
So we in the season for a reason. And we can't forget those who have come before us and who have, whose shoulders we're standing on. And a lot of us just don't know about the people who have come before us and whose shoulders we're standing on. So I want to feature this, man. This will take a little bit to get into, but I want to get your opinion and your opinion at home on this whole thing, because tomorrow everybody will be feeding their face and going into diabetic comas. And that literally happened at a family gathering of mine. So I'm not like exaggerating.
Because all we do is make nothing but we'll make dressing, bread, we'll make mac and cheese, carb, another carb, which turns into sugar. We make what else? What else do people eat?
Macaroni with pasta.
Macaroni with pasta.
Mm-hmm.
So we're making all these. We're making a lot of non-vegetable related dishes.
Right.
And then of course we make some collard greens.
Possibly. Maybe a turnip, maybe a salad. That's secondary. Yeah. That's if I feel like it, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the prevailing attitude. But let's check this out, man, because the reason for the season got a meaning and we won't talk about it. Thanksgiving is another reminder of what America forgot. So let me pop this video on by this brother. Now, how much does $1 cost? That was the skit on Kendrick Lamar's record. And he was speaking of how if he ran into an elder that was homeless and the elder asked him for $1 and him as a superstar, got all hung up and giving the elder $1. What if the elder was, an ancestor come back to, judge his deeds, or, Jesus Christ himself and come back to judge his deeds? How much does $1 cost, right? How much does it cost to sit back and listen to some elders and listen to the wisdom and not call them crazy or bums or shaking or be disrespectful? Let's check this out, man. Real HD Show.
This is the elder out of New Orleans coming to you with another informative video. Peace and blessing to all the melanated family. All praises to our Creator and our ancestors. But family, this video is going to be about the origin of Thanksgiving, the Pequot massacre of over 1,000 melanated people in Massachusetts. That is the origin of Thanksgiving. What these Europeans did, there was a thriving community minding their own business. So like Europeans do, they say we got to take this land, we got to take this community. So what they did, they came in like they always do with their cannons and their guns and burnt the community down. Then the governor of Massachusetts proclaimed Thanksgiving Day for the massacre of almost 1,000 melanated Indians that was already here. And they not only did it in Massachusetts, they did it in Connecticut, Delaware, uh, New Hampshire. All that was Peacock territory. Just like down south was Seminole territory, Blackfoot territory, Choctaw, Cherokee. We was already here all over America. The cowboy movies that you see them fighting the Indians, that's who they was fighting us. Now black people going out in 2, 3 more weeks to celebrate Thanksgiving and don't even know the origin of Thanksgiving. The origin of Thanksgiving is a massacre of melanated people, just like the Europeans been doing all over America. Went there in California slaughtering people, Florida, Louisiana, all over America was owned and operated by melanated people that look just like me. But there's going to be a lot of black people going to celebrate this demonic holiday. Like all the rest of the holidays are demonic and made to make money and killing turkeys and everything else. That's right, family. So if you don't believe me, you can go do your own research on the Peacock Massacre of 1637. Even got white folks making documentaries on it, because it's nothing but the truth. These people ain't nothing but murderers, land stealers.
All right, he about to go in. He about to give them a Def Comedy Jam routine. He about to go in. Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me all right, bro?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, man. What America forgot: the amnesia of Thanksgiving, the absence of Native perspectives in American history books and classrooms have been remarked on for over 50 years. Will it ever change? So
That's no different than what they're trying to do now with in Florida.
we're gonna talk about Florida in a second, but go ahead.
Oh no, that's all. I was just making that comment.
Yes, sir. So he was talking about the Pequot. And the Pequot were part of the Creek Indians as a Creek natives as an entire population. And then, of course, they were having their intertribal wars with them and the Mohicans and the what was it called? The Narracetas, right? The Narracetas and the Mohicans were warring with the Pequot. And that had been going on for a very long time, almost like what's going on over there in Gaza. And then, of course, divide and conquer. You get Miles Standish, and you get the rest of them jokers coming over here with their ways. And at first, they went to war with them against the PC people, and then all of a sudden, you get people asking them like, "Hey, you want us to help you with that group over there? We can help you." And then they give the Mohicans guns and ammo and their own forces, and they basically and almost extinct the Pequot Nation, and then celebrated over a meal, and then celebrated over some cranberry sauce, and you get to lap that up tomorrow. When if you go back far enough and you go into the annals of lineage far enough, our ancestors sought refuge with a lot of native folk throughout the Gullah Islands of South Carolina and Florida and Louisiana and even some parts of Texas, which is why if you go back and watch the show that I did on Juneteenth, you'll see some peculiar things had happened right before they declared Juneteenth a thing in Texas. You know what I mean? How did the Texas population jump so far and so hard if it was only slaves there? How did all them people intermix and intermingle to become almost 500,000 people that you was freeing? And 10 years before that, it was a shell of an area. It's crazy. So, with that being said, Um, will we ever get the full due? And how hard do you think we have to fight to include these things in the annals of history, in the annals of public school, so that our children can be fully educated, and even ourselves, you know what I mean? So that we know what we're actively participating in. You know what I'm saying? Because my grandfather was Budawak out of St. Petersburg, Florida. And I'm not very connected with it, but I know that because he brought up remnants of it to New York with him when he married my grandmother. My grandmother's from Trinidad. She's a Maroon. And then of course, my grandfather is Budawak, so he's a native, plus black African. And then you got all of that jumbled in there. And here I come a couple generations later on the scene. And because of the Great Migration and other things and other oppressive forces, I'm disconnected from all of it. Will we ever get that day where we, are affirmed and in full acknowledgement of the contributions of our peoples, no matter where they came from? What do you think, bro?
It's fast becoming someone that's going to be buried and hard to find
Mm,
if we don't really
say it
take
ain't
the
so.
time out to actually gather this information, and for some of us who have it, to make it available.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have an aunt, she's up there in years. She has tons of pictures and stories about the family, but she doesn't want to share it.
Mm,
So you always have to kind of coax her into, you bring something up and, you kind of nonchalantly, then she'll comment. But she has all these pictures that just goes back, 1800s and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's trauma or is there a certain pride of just saying I got this, but I don't want to lose it, but not realizing that you ain't gonna be here much longer. So what are you gonna do? Are you going to allow that information to be seen and heard? And that's what we got to do. One thing that we used to do was pass down uh, our history, and we've gotten away from that. We don't pass it down no more.
right.
So it could be a situation where it could be lost forever.
Mm, say it ain't so. Well, the Real HD show got something coming up that we working on. And I told Brother Mozzie and I spoke on it real briefly. It's in the conceptualization phase, but that ain't with brothers like us, that ain't far from a reality. And we want to start a uh repository for our history, our culture, and our time. And it's gonna be a pretty big undertaking, but we want it to be an encyclopedia or a reference point of sorts. Maybe even challenge Wiki at some point, because Wiki wasn't Wiki until it became Wiki. Now everybody referred to it, even though it's people sourced, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that tells me that we can get this done, and we want to create a repository for the greatness and downtimes of our people, history, language, and culture, so that the babies, the people, can consult and reference it as they watch the show, as they go about their business, as they go about their back and forths throughout society. But I wanted to offer something, man. The brother said, I believe he said 1687 or 1697, something like that, that the massacre happened. And those same Pequot people, the survivors of that massacre, went south. And they found themselves all the way down in Florida in a place called Fort Negro, right? And Fort Negro was a haven for escaped slaves that fell into the deadliest cannon shot in New York in U.S. history. But not just for what happened to them at Fort Negro, but what Fort Negro was before it was blown up. It was a place and a refuge for Native people who was almost involved in the Trail of Tears but survived. And then it was also a refuge for escaped people who were, enslaved and in bondage. And when they got freedom or they got their ability to be mobile, they retreated to Florida to Fort Negro. And then, of course, they had a run-in with Andrew Jackson. And then, of course, you had this particular incident that happened. It was a cannon fire. They were all, see, what happened in Fort Negro is they learned from the Pequot massacres of the time. They learned from the, the Bacon rebellions and all of the things that happened, the Stoner rebellions, the Bacon rebellions, and they had munitions. They were armed to protect themselves. And it just happened to be a lucky shot from and that's the way the fable is told, that it was a lucky shot that hit some sort of gunpowder that was on the ground in Fort Negro. And the gunpowder that was on the ground ran into the spark ran into the munitions, and it blew the entire settlement up. But it just happened to be a lucky shot. It wasn't like the shot was intended to actually hit the munitions, because they didn't even know where the munitions were. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, after that sparks the great that sparks the Great Seminole War. And then, of course, that leads to Jessup's Compromise, where nobody wants to talk about it, but the government gave those brothers and sisters their freedom because they was getting their ass whooped. And that's in the Library of Congress. Y'all could go look that up. I'm not lying. I'm not fabricating. No tinfoil hats on here, even though my joint is great tonight. Check that out. So, and that, and also, I guess Delmar VC had a run right after that in the early 1800s that led to his execution. And what a lot of these stories and fables and events in history don't provide is the through line. How one thing influenced the other, influenced the other, influenced the other. So Delmar VC's passing led to Harper's Ferry with Nat Turner in 1831. So, I show all these things to not only for the fact that we got to be more aware about Thanksgiving, but also that history is not a one-off. There's a through line in the entire thing. And one thing leads to another, one event leads to another, that leads to another, that leads to another. And then, of course, you get Abraham Lincoln, because Jessup made the first proclamation of freedom for the Seminole people. Then you have some 30, 40 years later, Abraham Lincoln doing the very same thing. Where did he get that from? Where'd a young lawyer like Abraham Lincoln get an idea like that from? You know what I'm saying? As some sort of like resolution to a divided nation for whatever reasons people think they were fighting. Your thoughts on this, man, because we getting ready to close out after this. Your thoughts on the through line of Thanksgiving with the Pequot, Fort Negro, the massacre with Andrew Jackson, and how all of those things influence events that, we're standing on the shoulders of right now. Your thoughts as we close out.
We just got to understand that, when we celebrate some of the things that we celebrate that is commonplace in our society right now, it would be nice if we know the origin. I mean, it's one thing that you know and understand where it comes from and you still celebrate it. But it's one thing that you're celebrating and you don't even know what the heck you're celebrating.
Right.
And that's when we find ourselves in a world of crap because we don't know.
Yeah, man, and then you wonder why folks don't respect you.
Yeah.
You wonder why folks don't show you any deference.
We have no respect in this world, man. Because
but if you're eating the food and celebrating the events that were your people's demise, how can you get any respect? How can you expect respect?
Well, like
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they know you go bankrupt to do it. They know that you run out there and you spend things beyond your means, and people are traveling in sleet, snow, rain to get to that plate of food, and get the itis and all that, just to know that you celebrating the massacre of what could be a native ancestry of yours.
And don't forget, read Ishaka Musa book.
Oh, you talking about
European
Barashango?
Barashango Ishaka Musa.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
European holidays. Oh gosh, what's the name? Help me out there. I know you know.
African genocide.
Mental genocide.
Mental genocide. I thought it was African.
It was one of them. I know Africans in there.
Let me pull it up. Let me see if I can get it and put it on. That's the book of the. Let me see.
All right. Yeah, mine's sitting over there on the shelf somewhere.
Barashango. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, mental genocide. You were right. And it's on Amazon. So I'm not sure if you want to sell. I'm not sure if you want to get your fill that way. Let me put it on the screen.
Yeah, get your fill. Leans hurt.
Yeah. Hey, he got some lectures online too. That's pretty spectacular. Because that brother don't hold punches at all. He is not. He would have been called very toxic right now. If that brother was that, he probably still doing lectures right now. But back in the 80s and the 90s, he was on one for sure. And there you go.
There you go. African people and European holidays are mental genocide.
Yes. And I have that. I think I have 2 or 3 volumes of his stuff because he covers a bunch of stuff in a bunch of books. Matter of fact, let me show the other ones that he has. I hope everybody can see that. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
So we got African people and European holidays and mental genocide book 2. Read both of those.
Yep.
Lots of reference material. That's why I love the brother, because he's very studied. And the
God,
reference
the Bible,
material,
and the black man's destiny.
Please get into that. Firework. And while you're doing that, reference Michael Bradley, reference Tony Browder, reference Dr. Bennett, Dr. Clark, and fill in the voids.
And then African woman. If some of these sisters. Oh, go ahead. I was just about to talk about that book.
Yeah, African Woman and the Original Guardian Angel. Go ahead, say what you gonna say about it.
I was just gonna say, maybe if some of them sisters read that book, they would understand their worth. And if some of those trans will read that book, maybe they realize, ain't gonna work.
Yeah, man. Hey, y'all love Kim Kardashian so much, man. Send her. She got some biracial babies. Send her. She got some melanated babies. Send her a gift pack of all of those books. And get her son off Minecraft and get him on some Dr. Barashango. You think Kanye West will let his son read Barashango? What you think?
He might. just despite what's her name there.
Yeah, just despite Kim K.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason. I want him to read that. And you better read it when I get back from Europe. Why are you going to Europe, Daddy? Yeah, man. Gotta make this money. Anyway. Hey, man, we love y'all, man. We just want y'all to be aware, be present, make great decisions. Know what you're celebrating. Know what you put in your energy and your vitality and your family's energy and vitality into. And if you do decide to take a stand and not celebrate the holiday the way it is, because let's be real. Nobody's talking about Miles Standish and the Pilgrims. Nobody's talking about muskets and turkeys and fowl and all of that. The Pequot and the Iroquois Nation and the Algonquins. Nobody's talking about that. They just want to eat a plate of food. So then call the holiday what it is.
A day of eating.
Day of eating, family and gluttony.
There you go. But you know what? But in the context of American society, it is a good time for family to get together.
Yes.
So let it be that.
So let it be a family day, right? That's what I say. Let it be family day. Construct some things going on. Maybe after y'all eat that meal, y'all get out and do like a 2-mile walk or something, and bond with each other. Maybe y'all hit the trails and do some biking or something active before the sun sets. Just something off the beaten path, and then take a moment to remember your ancestors, both native and from the motherland, who put it down for you to be here. Very, very important that we stay in that rhythm and in that value system. Hey man, we're gonna get ready to get out of here, man. And for the Real HD show, the higher discussion, I'm the Vic, and this is Brother Mozzie. We here one more again for you, giving you that awareness so you could be fearless. And we're gonna get out of here with a peace and walk with power. All right, y'all. Y'all love on each other, man. Be safe and try to stay healthy out there.